This is the Sounds on Vinyl show, the only show that will make your freaking ears bleed. I say that every time, and I hope we deliver because I feel like we do, man. I feel like we do. My name is Phil Bowyer, as always, and the dude sitting next to me over there is none other than Mike Svensson, lead singer extraordinaire for bands past, present, future. Um, Mike,
Yeah,
are you ready for today? Are you
I'm
ready
I'm
for this
so
record?
I'm so fucking ready. My fucking ears are bleeding.
See,
It's
we delivered, man,
yeah.
already.
It's nuts. It's nuts to think about it. I mean, we couldn't even like begin to talk to one another before we started talking about this album.
Yeah, we
So
just dove right in. We're like, okay,
yeah,
we got to
yeah,
hit record because
yeah.
it's just so epic. Now, this is not a band that you particularly like the genre. You're not a big progressive rock
No,
fan.
no.
So this is going to be fun. And for those that are not familiar with Operation Mindcrime from Queensryche, not sure how you can't be because this was like one of the biggest records back in the late 80s. It tells a story. It's a concept record, and it's
Yeah.
it's one of the best records I think we've seen in our lifetime. What do you think? You
Oh
would
yeah,
you agree with that statement?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm so
you're you're
baffled.
you're you're just
Yeah, yeah.
you're lost for words.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This one's going to be a little bit different because it tells a story. I don't know about what Mike's notes have, but I took notes on how they told the story as well because it's such a big part of this record and how they told the story. And it's not just the music, but it is the lyrics. Lyrics are always important, but with this kind of record, they're even more important.
Yeah.
And we're also going to have something special for you once we get to about track 8, and we'll talk about that once we get there. But something a little different, and I will say it's sort of a blast from the past.
Mhm.
So that will be fun. That will be
Oh yeah.
fun to include in here. So, without further ado, let's dive into it, man. I remember now track 1.
Yeah. I mean, I have to touch base with like the storyline they're talking about because it's still current today. And
Mhm.
sadly, talking about like corruption, government corruption, and addiction, and the media hype and whatnot. So it's crazy to sit and listen to this album that was written some like I don't know how many years it took to write it. Let's say 86, 87, 88. So we touch base on but
Mhm.
mid 80s or late 80s. And it's still the storyline for this album is so freaking current today that it fucking scares me.
Yeah, you'd
Uh,
never know this was done
no,
what 30 some odd years
no, no,
earlier,
no.
like it's just nuts how yeah, when I was listening to this and taking notes on it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, okay,
Yeah.
that's still going on.
Oh
That's
yeah.
still going on. Oh, and
Hmm.
then we got the church involved. Okay, that's still going on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
It's
it's ins
insane. I'm
it's
sitting
crazy.
there reading the lyrics, and as you say, it's everything. You can tick off every fucking box there is, and
Mhm.
it's you can apply it to everyday life in 2023, which is it's so freaking scary. But okay,
Mhm.
going back to the intro, I remember now. I mean, it's I just love it. You're gonna hear me say love it. I'm giving everything away because I'm so freaking excited. So yes, I'm more of a meat and potato guy. I have the bluesy stuff with me. I dig. I mean, you know me. Kiss is my
Mhm.
my all-time favorite band. I love Whitesnake, Lizzy, Sabbath. I mean, you name it. It's those easygoing bands, if you know what I
Mhm.
mean. Not the progressive stuff at all.
Right.
Even though I like Maiden, but still. So this is oh man, I'm going to lose my words as we go along because this is I remember this album as it like it was yesterday. I had to listen to it again, of course, to just
Mhm.
to refresh my memory. But still, today, some like 30 odd years later, it's still a freaking awesome album. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I liked the intro. It's I love the creepy voices that they got in between, because everything fits so well to the story. So it's
Yeah.
a great beginning.
Yeah, I love the way they introduce the character right from the beginning, right?
Yeah,
It's you hear this the announcements, the hospital announcements or the PA,
yeah.
which in the United States it was that track right there was on every single 80s, 70s and 80s TV show. That's all you heard. That was like that's the standard track. I actually looked into it. You could license that for something like $10,000
Oh man,
as of like 5 years ago.
Jesus.
That's why today you hear like brand new ones because it's just too expensive to
Oh right.
license just for like some background stuff.
Jesus.
But so you know right away that you're in the hospital, so they put that out there without any really real music or anything, right? You just hear the heels of the nurse walking down this hospital hall, the announcements going. You hear her walk into this room, and then you hear the TV, and there's this news announcement on the TV, so you know they're talking about the guy that she's about to go give a sedative to,
Yeah,
right? So right away we get introduced to this character in a way that is, I think, brilliant. As a fiction writer, you always show, don't tell. Well, how do you show an audio? This is
yeah,
how you show an audio. It was such a beautiful way, and how they did that exposition without really doing exposition, and it was
yeah,
just it is fucking, it was just brilliant,
yeah.
brilliant.
I agree. I agree. And
And the fact that we're starting at the end.
yeah,
This is not the beginning, but we're starting at the end.
yeah. And I just love how they go. I mean, you have to listen to it in a certain way, I think, but it's how it mixes over directly into track two, and which is Anarchy X, and it's a build up, which I think it's so freaking awesome. It's like you say, you're already a part of the story, and you don't even know that the second track has started,
Yeah,
because you're so into it. And I'm
yeah.
sitting there listening in my headphones, and I'm thinking, "Holy shit, what the fuck?" Because you hear stuff in a certain way,
Right.
listening in the headphones. So I had to take them off and listen to my stereo, and I put them on again just to be sure that this is what's going on. So it's totally mind blowing.
It is. Yeah, the drums on Anarchy X are just incredible. I
Yeah,
mean, they really just show the chaos of what's going on, and the literal anarchy in the
yeah, yeah,
background. You got people
yeah,
yelling and screaming,
yeah,
and it's hard to tell where we're at in the story, but I think this is the beginning of the story.
yeah,
I think this is where the story starts.
yeah. But and it really doesn't matter, because it's you're already sucked in.
Mhm.
It's crazy. And I remember a couple of, I think it was like a month ago, I had that album in my store, the Sons of Vinyl Record Store in Malmo, Sweden. Yes, yeah, yeah, well, trying to be more American and plug myself, but it's not working. But I talked to the guy. It was a newly pressed one, so it wasn't the original, and we talked about it, and we were both standing there and going, "Oh my god, remember?" Because we were like the same age, and he told a story when he went to see them. I think it was like after Mindcrime. I think it was, yeah, because he discovered them on this album, so he went in the early '90s or something. And two people like that sharing stories of an album that you got floored with as a teenager, and still today think it's fresh and it's right in there. I think that's it's such a brilliant album. It's such a brilliant album.
It is.
Fuck.
Yes. Revolution Calling,
Oh
track
yeah.
3. And I think it
Revolution calling. I had to. I had to. I can't do what he does, but it's
not many people can. Not
no.
many people can.
Oh my
The
god.
guy's one of my, well, used to be one of my favorite singers.
Yeah.
Queensryche still is in my top 3 bands overall.
Yeah.
I love this band. Well, we'll talk about that at a
Yeah.
different point. But
Yeah.
Revolution Calling,
Yeah.
the transition from Anarchy X to Revolution Calling
Yeah.
is just fucking perfect.
It
I love
is.
the way it builds and builds and builds, and then the song kicks in,
Yeah.
the music kicks in, and we learn about Dr. X, the man
Yeah.
with the cure, and he's got all the answers, and he seems to be very well connected. He's the puppet master. He's the
Yeah.
one that's controlling this whole thing. And the question is, what's his connection with Nikki? And Nikki's saying, which we don't know his name yet at this point, but where's his line? He's got this line. Will he cross it? Will this character, Dr. X, make him cross this line?
Yeah. My god.
It's just, it's like,
It's
it's
yeah.
the story itself is just so fucking amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just so awesome.
You forget, or at least I did. I forgot to take notes because I was so into it, and I was holy shit! It's already Revolution Calling. I need to take notes, for crying out loud. What the fuck?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's because I I I love this song with my whole heart. 'Cause I love Jeff Tate's vocals on this one when it slowly builds up into the chorus, and then the song. I mean, it takes a life at its own. It's freaking insane. The
Yeah,
song.
I'm with you.
I
It's
mean, the
beautiful. It's a
songwriting
beautiful
over.
song.
It is the songwriting overall on this album. Fuck me. I
Yeah.
mean, the musicianship. It's. I mean, it's pure
Mhm.
awesomeness. It,
It
it
is.
is. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And like we were saying, like this song really starts that whole what we were talking about earlier, where it's still the same today.
Yeah.
Right? Like the line, gotta make $1 million, doesn't matter who dies.
Yeah.
That
Oh yeah.
fits. I mean, how
Yeah.
many you got Nestle, you've got all these companies out there that
Oh
are
yeah.
killing people,
Yeah.
and they don't give a shit as long as they're
No.
making money,
Oh yeah.
right? And it's fucking just crazy how
Yeah.
current and how epic the lyrics are on
Oh
this.
yeah. Yeah.
Lyrically, musically, it's a masterpiece. And
Mhm.
we just got through track 3. We
Yeah.
haven't even gotten to the title track, Operation Mindcrime, yet.
No, and people bear this in mind. This for the people who are listening right now. This album was released in 1988. So take a minute and let that sink in a bit with the story that Phil just told you, which is fucking insane to me that you can apply that shit on current events today.
I mean, that was the year I graduated from high school.
You see?
I remember listening to this thing pretty much on repeat. It was
Mhm.
this and Appetite from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
These 2 records were like on repeat. It was like
Yeah.
such a great year for music, between Appetite and this one.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, this is the year I graduated from high school and didn't really pay attention. You're a fucking teenager. You're just concerned about fucking the next party and getting laid and whatever. You don't give a shit, right?
No.
I had no idea about all this stuff. And now to listen to this all these years later, it's like, holy mother of God.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's insane.
That's the right word for it. It's yeah. Oh my god.
Mindcrime.
Yeah. I mean I'm still lost for words. I don't know what to say, but it's I mean,
It was
epic, love it, awesome. I mean, that's I'm checking my notes. I see if I've written down some. I mean, if my brain like, could you please go back to being like a bit of a teacher in your mind and write something that I mean, bears resemblance to something that is real and not awesome. I feel like Beavis and Butthead for crying out loud. Listen to, oh, it's
yeah.
fucking awesome, man. I mean, I love how the song. I mean, all the songs are so well played together. It fits with the narrative of the story and so forth. I mean, guitar playing, lyrics. I mean, oh, shit, I shouldn't be liking this as much as I do, but it's there is something with this album. There's
It's special. It is
yeah,
special.
yeah.
Yeah, I love the way the phone rings and we hear the song
Oh,
intro and you
yeah,
hear Mindcrime.
yeah,
And then it rings again. And then the song kicks in. And then you
yeah,
know, okay, now it's begun.
yeah.
Whatever Operation Mindcrime is, it has begun.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. X has pulled the trigger and it's in full force. And
Yeah,
you know, we learn more about our main character's history. We still don't know his name yet, but we know his history. Um, we also learned that Operation Mindcrime is about killing someone or some more than one person. We're not quite sure yet.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's I think that I love the drums in this. There are some bands like Rush where the drums and even Led Zeppelin, the drums
yeah,
are like a focal point almost. And on this record, the drums and the bass, I got this on this note on a lot of these songs. It's much more than rhythm. It's actually it tells a different part of the story. I feel
yeah.
it's really just it lends that whole something to these songs, and the drums on this are just I don't know. The song wouldn't be the same without the drums on this. The way
No,
they put them together, the way they
I
wrote them, the
I
way they
totally
wrote it.
agree. Yeah, it's. I mean, everything. It's. I as a musician, I don't know what to say because how the fuck do you write an album like this? I mean, it's just insane to think about. I mean, when when track 14 echoes out, do they sit there and say, "Oh yeah, we made an epic album"? Are they even aware? I mean, if
Well,
I,
in the something special that's coming up a little bit later, I think
yeah,
they knew that they had something special.
yeah,
I think they knew before they started recording. I think they knew they had something special.
yeah,
So that's a little tease
yeah,
as we get into track 8 down the road.
yeah,
But
yeah. I
yeah.
just have to mention this. I only saw Queensryche at one time, and it was later on in 2004, and some friends of mine was opening up for them at KB in Malmo, and when they did Operation Mindcrime, I the song I wet my pants. I shit you not. It was fucking insane. Still, his voice, so many
Mhm.
years later, and I don't know how he sounds today, Jeff Tate, but I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
I think this for me anyway, I know that again a lot of people would disagree. I feel like this is their last great record. This is the
Yeah.
last record that's worth listening to. Everything after this, and I blame Jeff for this, based on accounts. Um, he took the band in a different direction,
Mm.
and even to a certain extent, he you know a lot of this was Jeff Tate. This record, I think it just for me, I'm glad this record exists because it was their like last. It was they went out with a bang, in my opinion. Because
Yeah.
I tried listening to the record. I forget the name of it that came after this with Silent Lucidity and all that bullshit on it. It's like how the fuck do you go from the Queen of the Reich EP and everything up until Mindcrime, and then you put out Silent Lucidity? Are you fucking kidding me? It's like a different fucking band. Listen to the song Queen of the Reich and Blinded. That fucking EP is heavy as fuck. To Silent Lucidity. It's like, who the fuck do you think you are, Metallica? Come on.
Ooh,
Come on.
burned.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I agree. The talent was still there. I think also the other thing, again, to the parallels with Metallica are kind of spooky. But once Chris DeGarmo left the band, because he was one of the main songwriters, and I feel like Chris DeGarmo is an underrated guitar player too. I think he was one of the better metal hard rock guitar players that we've seen. Once he decided he wasn't going to do music so much anymore, I feel like that the band couldn't really pull it off anymore, just like Metallica couldn't pull it off without Cliff.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's just that's what I'm thinking.
And you're entitled to your opinion.
Right. One last thing about this song, though, going back to the lyrics, we finally learn the character's name, and his name is Nikki, and that he does in fact have the gun. And the question is, what's he supposed to do with it? And as we had learned earlier in the song, he'll do anything except pull the trigger. Will he pull the trigger? Will he? We will see.
We
Track
will see.
5. Speak.
Yeah.
Speak.
Yeah. What I don't know what to say. It's I mean, I'm not really into the stuff that are in between, but everything it's like the lyrics are the music is soundtrack to the lyrics, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
There is something there. I mean, just listen to this. I mean, the ending of this song, "Speak," and it's so powerful. The way it slowly builds. Speak the word. Speak the word, and then it ends with "Speak."
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
it's. I mean, it's.
I've got the same note here. How it's
Yeah.
just like, speak the word. The word is all of us. Speak. Yeah.
Yeah. And
It
I'm
was-
wearing my headphones at the moment when I listen to that. I almost shit my pants.
yeah. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It's
It's
yeah.
so powerful.
Yeah.
It-
I love how we transition back to the anarchy in the streets. So we know
Yeah.
whatever this anarchy is about, which we
Yeah.
don't know, but it's going on and someone's yelling, "Hey, listen to me." Which I
Yeah.
thought was kind of funny how that was
Yeah.
so pronounced. I do think this shows Jeff's talent here.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about his vocals. One of the great vocalists. And it's not really just the lyrics, the songwriting, his contribution of the songwriting too on this whole record. I think this really shows his talent. And the way he sings this song in particular reminds me of how Ronnie James Dio sings. Not the vocal range, but how he sings. Like he's acting it out. Like he's like trying to suck you into the song and bring you in and that. So it was very Ronnie Dio-esque.
Yeah.
This I couldn't help but thinking of that. And yeah, of course you've got the brilliant line, "We'll burn the White House down." It's like fucking hell. And there are people, I mean, we just, not to bring up politics, but we just had the January 6th Capitol thing a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, talk about
current
fucking
events.
current events. It's just it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And that guy who led the thing with the what the fuck are they called? Proud Boys or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets sentenced to jail. I mean, for I mean, it's
a lot of those guys
Yeah.
fucking went to jail. Thankfully, not long enough, but they
But you're talking about a line from the album, okay, "Anarchy in the Streets." I mean,
Mhm.
you apply that to current events. It's to hearing you talk. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Haven't we learned anything? It's, I don't know.
Well, as they say, history repeats itself.
Yeah.
We don't learn. We don't
Oh
learn.
my god. So fucking stupid human beings.
Spreading the disease, track 6.
Yeah. Um I think the lyrics on this one is superior. I mean, everything fits. It's, I don't know what to say. I'm there's questions marks on my notes, for crying out loud, because
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
It's
I
because
agree.
I mean, from the like the intro to the second track to Revolution Calling, I'm already in there. It's
You're
like
in the
being drawn.
story.
Yeah, I'm in the
And it's
story.
hard to get out to write
Yeah,
notes down. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I found myself actually pausing it and going back
yeah,
because, I couldn't type and get my thoughts down because then I'm missing the song. So I had to
yeah.
like stop and backtrack. And no, I'm with you. It was hard. It was hard to kind of put down something to say about this because these songs, because it just sucks you in so much
Oh yeah,
that like, what's there to say really?
yeah.
Except there's a lot to say. It's just hard to put into words.
Yeah, and it's strange because I know there are some people th- that are around me that, oh, you should listen to this progressive band, and I'm thinking, so, and then I'll listen to Gentle Giant or Pink Floyd or whatever. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm so lost. So, but you like Operation Mindcrime. You always say that you dig that album. That's progressive, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know. I just love the album, progressive or not. I just dig it. I dig it to hell. I mean, it's fuck
Yeah,
me.
yeah, it's good stuff.
It is.
Spreading the disease, the
Yeah.
fucking drums and guitar on
Oh yeah.
this, the way they're paired together is just so awesome. And in this one, we get introduced to a new character because it's definitely not about Nikki. It's about someone else.
Yeah.
It, it's about a whore. And how does this horror fit into this whole story? What's this about? Um, and then this whore becomes a nun, Sister Mary, and but she's just a whore for the church, both literally and metaphorically. I love the solo leading into the little mini drum solo after. That's just
Yeah.
fucking awesome. That just kicks ass. Um, and I love these two lines in here. I couldn't help but writing down quotes from this because it's just so fucking awesome. Selling skin, selling gods, selling God. The numbers look the same on their credit cards. God, that's just is if that's not the Catholic Church, and all you Catholics, you can send your hate mail to me. It's right here. Got something to say, leave me a message. Okay. I mean, the Catholic Church goes against porn, but then they're the ones running all the porn sites, right? So it's like it's so that line is just so on point and so perfect.
Yeah.
Um, and this one again points back to even what we've got going on right now in current politics and stuff. No one wants to see how society keeps spreading the disease.
Mm. Just take a minute. Just take a minute and think about that.
Mm-hmm. It's just it's awesome.
It
It's
is.
awesome
Yeah. And
how
scary too,
oh,
because
it's scary as fuck.
the line you just read, it's still current
Still,
events. Current events.
yeah, this thing's a
Jesus.
transcript for fucking the world.
Yeah.
Ah, Truck 7, the mission.
Oh, I'm gonna brace myself. Take a deep breath, Mike. Okay, I love how the vocals start on this one, and I mean, the talent of Jeff Tate on this album, the vocal range that he's got is, it's like you say. I couldn't describe it better myself when you say it's Ronnie James Dio esque, because it
Mhm.
is, because he's singing like he means it. He
Hmm.
draws you in, he pulls you apart, and then you're left with nothing. And it's I mean, it's crazy. And when you're just in there, when the music drops, and you're thinking, oh my god, and together with the music, it takes you on a journey. It's fucking insane. I mean, this song and the lyrics on this one, still, I don't know if you got any quotes from it, because I did a
Not
poor
on not
job
on this
on my
one.
notes.
Not I don't for this one, but it
Jeez.
is one of my favorite songs. Well, actually, it is my favorite song on the record.
Yeah.
I love this one. The way it starts, the gun clicking over the TV evangelist
Oh yeah.
on the TV. I mean, if that's not American, I don't know what is, at least where I
Oh
live. The guitar playing behind Jeff's vocals is just, I mean, I don't know. And when the rhythm of the song kicks in, it furthers that mystery of what's going on. It kind
yeah.
of doesn't answer anything, but it pulls you forward. It puts you on the
Yeah.
edge of your seat,
Yeah.
and it's just, it's nuts. Yeah. And Jeff's vocals as we come out of the solo, like you were saying, is
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
so,
And the
yeah,
guitar
it really
solo.
showcases his fucking talent right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And to hear that live too. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. If you guys don't have I forget what year it came out. They had a CD box set that came out. They might have had a vinyl one, but at that time I was into CDs, so I didn't like care about vinyl. There's a live version of both them playing the entire record live,
Yeah.
and a video of it too. Came with a
Oh
VHS tape, so that's how old this was.
yeah.
And this live, along with the next song we're going to talk about, just fucking tits, just amazing.
Oh my god, I have to turn my page here on my analog analog pad.
Yes, yes, because shit's about to get real right now. We've got
Yes.
track 8, Sweet Sister Mary.
Yeah.
Kill her. That's all you have to do. Kill Mary? She's a risk. And get the priest as well. Come on. That
Yeah.
fucking sucks you in.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you thought shit was real before. No, man. Now Nikki's got to kill Mary,
Yeah.
Sister Mary, the one he loves,
Yeah.
the love of his life. He's been tasked to kill her.
Jesus Christ. I had to pause there and go back and listen to that again, because I couldn't believe my ears. I don't know how it's some parts I didn't recognize, because I'm pretty sure 1988. What am I? I'm 17 years old, and listening to the album with your friends, you don't pay that much attention. It's just rock and roll
Mhm.
music. But to sit down with my headphones today and listen to it again and again and again, it sucks you in. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, the guitar and the chants, I love the chants on this
Yeah.
one. It really brings that eeriness and that, the church, you hear chants like that and you think monks, you think the church.
Yeah.
And it just it brings it back to that. His vocals, Jeff's vocals, really, really again showcases his ability and what he can do. I
Yeah.
love the tempo change they do in here, and how we go in and we hear sounds of the city and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we hear this dialogue between Nikki and Mary, who's played by Pamela Moore.
Yeah.
Um, and again, to hear Jeff Tate and Pamela Moore do this duet in this song live, I wish I was able to see that, because it's just phenomenal to hear these two sing together and act it out. I mean, it's like very opera-esque when you're there and you see these two, because it's on the video that they released I was talking about a minute ago. It's just insane. Um, yeah, we learn why Mary has to be killed, because she might just be a whore for the underground, but she does know way too much, so she's got
Yeah.
to go. Um, The part around the 6-minute mark when it slows down and it goes into those omen-like chants, and we know something's going on, but not quite sure what. And then that main riff kicks in. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, you see, it's I don't know what to say, because I'm a lyric person. Also, I cannot listen to a song without listening to the lyrics. I can't turn that stuff off and on. I'm just in there in all the music that I listen to, which is for good or worse, I don't know. It's I mean, sometimes I remember lyrics to bands and artists that I don't even like, but
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the ending too, as we get into how the drums, keep up that beat and we hear the chants, and it's just so creepy and beautiful all at the same time. It's just the differences that they made in this, how everything sort of contradicts each other sometimes, but still fits together. It's like, I don't know how they did that. But a few years ago, I had my other entertainment company before Booze Hound. It was called Fibble, and my wife and we interviewed Pamela Moore because she had just put out a solo record out. And so we got lucky enough to get her on the phone. And this was before fancy stuff. So it was one of those days where I had to point the microphone at the speakerphone. So the quality is not that great. It's also how I recorded Mike when I met Mike in his band way, way back in the day. And I recorded Mike's interview the same way, which was fun. But so I'm gonna throw that audio in right here because I'm only including the part where she talks about how she got connected with Queensryche, how she got involved in the project, how she played on Mindcrime 2, even though her character commits suicide on this record we're talking about. She talks about playing without Chris DeGarmo both on live when they went on tour after Chris left the band, and on Mindcrime 2, even though Chris did, I think, have a hand in one or two of the songs on Mindcrime 2. And of course, Operation Mindcrime, the movie. Apparently there was a script written, a screenplay written, but we have not seen the light of day. So she'll comment on that. So I'm going to pop that in right here, and then we're going to come back and talk about The Needle Lies. Ooh. Way back in 1988, Queensryche released Operation Mindcrime 1, and you had a pretty big role in that. How'd you get involved with Queensryche and get the voice of Sister Mary?
I think it's one of those things where you're in the right place at the right time. I was, at that time when they were doing that, I really didn't know much about Queensryche. I was performing in a rather popular club band in Seattle, and I was doing an awful lot of recording sessions and TV stuff. And I happened upon doing this interview with, or not an interview, excuse me, a commercial called Guitars, Etc., and it got a lot of exposure on the radio. And I guess what had happened was at the time, Jeff and Chris were looking for a singer for Sister Mary. And Jeff kept wondering who this person was that was singing. So I guess they found out. And one day I got a call from Chris DeGarmo from Montreal. And he said, "Hey, Pamela, how about if you come up to Montreal?" And I'm like, "Why would I want to do that?" And he basically told me that they needed a singer for the duet that the person was going to be singing with Jeff, and we think you'd be perfect for it. And I said, "Well, can you send me the song?" And he said, "No." They kept it really close to their heart. This was a big secret, and it was a big deal. And so he says, "No." And I said, "Well, how do you know I'll be good for it?" And he says, we think you'll be pretty good." So that weekend, basically, they just flew me up there, and they took me out to dinner when I got into the city, and told me this whole conceptual idea, which just at the time was just overwhelming. I'm like, "What? What does this mean?" They handed me a cassette tape at the time, and they stuck me in my room, and they said, "We'll see you in the morning." And so I listened to the song, and right away I just thought, "I can do this." but I was a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
So the next day, here I am in the studio in front of a microphone, and kind of everything clicked from then on. But it was a little nerve-wracking because I didn't know who these people were, basically. I mean, I knew of them, but I didn't really know each person that well. And
Right.
I've been singing a song that I'd never even listened to before. It was kind of nerve-wracking, too. But it really turned out to be way, way more than I thought. I would never have expected that here I am singing this part, go home the next day after and done, and then all of a sudden, you know, what is it, like almost 20 years later, Sister Mary's still alive and she's actually dead.
Yeah. Did you ever think they'd make a part 2?
I didn't know. I didn't think so. But when we were touring, like in 2004, there was mention of it, and then they had said, we're going to do it. And I was like, wow. But I didn't think I was going to be in it because my part in Operation Mindcrime 1, I killed myself. So I thought, how in the heck am I supposed to come back? Well, basically, when I came back, there was a lot more parts for me. And that's why I keep saying it's so funny, because here I am dead, and I'm doing much more of the second one than the first one, which is really cool for me. But
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, God, this is cool. So I think it turned out really well, basically. I think they kept true to the storyline. To me, it's more of a love story from my perspective. You know, it's all about a revolutionary thing and political stuff. But for me, it was more about the love story between Nikki and Mary.
Yeah, I thought it was a great story.
Yeah.
It was good. Was it different working on Mindcrime 2 compared to Mindcrime 1 without Chris being there?
Yeah, well, even touring, when I went back with them again, I think it was 2003, 2004 or something, it was kind of odd, because I really missed Chris. I was pretty close to Chris at first than any of the others, just by chance meetings that I would have in the music store or whatever. Not having him around is sad, because he's a brilliant guy, you know, and he offered an awful lot to the band, but I have to say that I think that the new guy, Mike Stone, has really contributed really well to the whole thing. I think he's kind of put some new blood in there, and he's been doing an awful lot of writing with the band.
Right.
That's really cool for him, because he can create his own niche. He doesn't have to kind of like be a copy print of someone who's already done something with the band. It's kind of nice to be able to stretch out and go, okay, here I am.
Right.
There's this brilliant guy that did this, and here I am. So I think it's going to be neat. I do miss them, and I think some of the band members do too. But you just go on, and I think they've done a brilliant job with that. You know, there's so many times when bands will just like have one hit and then they're gone.
Yeah.
These guys just tend to stand together, and they're very professional. I don't think I would work with anyone else that wasn't. And, you know, real classy guys, really fun to work with. They have really good work ethic. They work really hard. And I'm just proud to be a part of them. So that's my story.
Yeah, kind of talking about, what a good time you had and everything. Would you like to see Operation Mindcrime made into a movie? Because I think with a story like that, it could be great. And if you do, have you ever thought about who you'd like to see play Sister Mary?
Well, that wouldn't be a choice of mine, I suppose, because that's kind of out of my hands as far as Jeff's been asked that question many times, and I'm not sure who he would bring about who would play that. That's a really good thought. I don't know who he would want to play my part in it. That's a really good thought. I'm going to have to think about that one. But it was funny, too. I was talking the other day about it, and it would be a really interesting movie. I know that they had, they're talking about doing a screenplay, but where that goes, I don't know, because fortunately, I'm a part of it, but even though I'm included in the band and I'm kind of like the secret sixth member, it really is kind of the brainchild of Jeff and the band.
Well, I heard Jeff had a script and was shopping it around. Is that not true?
I don't know that for sure. I do know that there is a script, or they have been working on one. How far that's gotten, I have no idea.
There we go. Like I said, the audio quality was not the greatest, and my interview skills were very subpar back then.
But still, I mean, the story, man, Jesus.
Yeah, it was fun talking to her because, you know, it was a 35-minute interview in total, and this was, I think, about 7 minutes, and it was all about Queensryche. I dove right. That was in the beginning of the interview. We just dove right into the Queensryche stuff, and she was very gracious about that and very cool. And after the interview, you know, we chatted for a little bit, and she's just such a great woman. She really is. She was just so nice to give us her time, give us her time, and just answer the questions and have a good time. And yeah, it was good. It was a good interview. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, back to Mindcrime, The Needle Lies.
Yes.
What do you think, man?
Oh, I love this song. Wakes me up because I'm sort of like in a trance or whatever you want to call it. A fast song, really great, epic guitar solos, and it's still I mean, listen to the lyrics. It makes me sad I mean you can apply everything to current events. You can apply some of the stuff from back in the day, but still you still got people like this today. You got exploitation of women and whatnot, and it's like the Me Too movement hasn't even been there yet, even though we're like in the midst of it, or whatever you want to call it. And you can apply everything into that. You can tick all the boxes even here. It's fucking insane. That threw me for a loop as thinking about the lyrics, and my mind had to go, wait a minute. When was this recorded? And it's sort of like, damn, still today
it holds up. Even let's just take the lyrics out of the equation. Let's just take the story out of the equation. It holds up musically as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this sounds like it could have been recorded today, like by one of the better bands that are out there today.
Oh yeah,
it does.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Queensryche isn't as good today as they were back then, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, this like I have this riff is fast paced, so talking about waking you up,
Yeah.
you know, moving the story forward, like just come on, let's go, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's got a lot of classical reference to it. The way it's it's arranged, the way the song's arranged, it's just it's awesome. As far as the story goes, you know, Nikki's pissed right now. He wants out, but Dr. X isn't going to let him. Like, you're just a junkie, dude. There's no way out for you, man. There's no way out. And so he gets high, goes looking for answers.
Yeah.
And the needle lies to him. My favorite part of this song.
Don't ever trust. Fuck me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I got carried
trust
away.
The needle. It lies. I love the way how the song just fucking stops.
Yeah.
Just fucking bam, it stops and it's done. And then it creeps into the next song.
Yeah.
It just creeps into it's and to do a dead stop on a song like that and transition that to something non-music, that's not easy to pull off.
No.
Right? And have that work and not be so like, holy shit, what fuck? I mean, you do get a little bit of that holy shit, but it's in a good way, not in a bad way. Like, did the song just cut off or what happened? But no, they fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
They nailed that end. I feel like that was just so beautiful done. And you hear that door creak open.
Yeah.
And Nikki's like, Mary?
Oh my God. It's
and then he finds and now we're in the Electric Requiem. Sees Mary dead.
Yeah.
after committing suicide.
It's so
And,
fucking powerful. Jesus.
And he wants death for himself. I mean, it's a heavy song, both lyrically and even musically. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, obviously we're dealing with suicide here and everything else. But it's a short song, and it does so much in that short time.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's I still it's I'm so gripped by it. I mean, we're talking about suicide and we're talking about drug addiction and mental health issues and whatnot. And I see so many young people out there that struggles, and it's heartbreaking, really.
It is.
And to see that Queensryche has managed to, I don't know, outdo themselves, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking that when you talk about the next album, which we don't know the name of it, with Silent Lucidity and so forth. I mean, where do you go from this? I mean, as a band, you just did your opus,
Yeah.
your Sergeant Pepper, your I mean,
You're
Dark
right.
Side of the Moon, or
You're
whatever.
right. You're right.
I mean,
what do you do?
What do you do?
I mean, Rush pulled it off. I think 2112 was a great story. You know, you figure side A is one giant long song broken up into different acts. And they came out with hits, you know, Tom Sawyer and stuff like that. I mean, the sound was a little bit different. They changed their
Yeah.
sound, and I don't know, maybe Queensryche felt that's what they had to do. They had to go more of the pop route to gain an audience after this. But yeah, I mean, it's what do you do? You know, after this, you go, you tour, you play it up, and I don't know. You're right. They couldn't come back from this.
No.
There's no way. Breaking the silence.
Breaking the silence. I love the guitar intro. I love when the music. They do that so many times on this album, but when it drops down right before the vocal starts, and then everything builds up again, and this great guitar solo, and I just love the ending with all the screams and
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking insane.
I know you did it. I know you did it. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. The end was a really good way to, and how they hard cut into the next song.
Yeah.
Was really awesome. I got to talk about Chris DeGarmo. I mentioned what an exceptional player he is. And I feel like, I don't know this for sure, but I feel like Glenn Tipton was one of his influences, because I hear a lot of Glenn Tipton playing in here with Beyond the Realms of Death and that solo that Glenn does on that. And I think it's really, because this song is a lot different, or this whole album is a lot different than anything Priest has ever done.
Yeah.
And to hear a little bit of that Glenn Tipton sort of style in here, and to pull that off, I feel that takes a lot of talent in order to do. So yeah, one of my favorite songs on here. I think it's just, it takes you on that journey, just furthers that story as we move through this epic, as you put it, opus. I think that's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I don't believe in love.
Yeah. Well, I once again love how the guitar solo runs like through a good portion of the song. It comes and goes, and it flows into one another, and it's taken. I'm lost again here. Remember, with my I'm laying in my sofa and listen to this album, and I'm thinking, oh, I got lost again. So I had to go back and change everything around, and I think I started at like track 9 or 10 or something like that, because I was totally lost into the story and into the music. And I don't really listen to the details in the music, because it's so fitting, if you know what I mean. It's supposed to be there. Not once do oh, good lord, what the hell was that kind of guitar solo or drums, and why the hell did he sing like that? Never during these 14 tracks that we're going through thought about, like, oh, this is totally out of place. Why the hell do they do this? And why is the songwriting like this? And whatnot? Because everything just flows together. And this song, I Don't Believe in Love, Jeff's vocals and the lyrics, and once again, he's a true master on vocals. He's a great singer.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You wouldn't expect to hear the galloping guitar on a record like this, but yet that's how it starts out. With that galloping guitar, which I happen to love. I love that kind of stuff, which is you hear a lot in Maiden and stuff like that. I really dig it.
And once again, I didn't think about it. It just fits.
It's just there, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like watching a movie and not realizing that it's acting. You're not focusing on the acting or whatever, the scene or whatever.
Yeah.
The drums and the bass here again, they add a layer. It's not just the rhythm. It's on a whole different layer to the song that I don't know. It's just awesome. And the quote, "She must have lied because she never said goodbye." And I heard that line and I'm like, you can just hear the pain that Nikki's going through right now.
Yeah.
The song's I Don't Believe in Love, but what I was talking about earlier, the oxymorons that they put in here, he says he doesn't believe in love, but yet he is so heartbroken by Mary's death that he can't get past it. And it's just the way the music behind that, it just sucks you in.
Yeah.
Just sucks you in. Just insane.
Yeah.
Waiting for 22.
And
I discovered something about the song, re-listening to this as again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I love how in the beginning, the guitar at the end bleeds into this song. So I Don't Believe in Love, how that bleeds into Waiting for 22. And for something so mellow, the song is very mellow, but it's so powerful at the same time. And it just adds to the story. There's no vocals here, but it just adds to the story. It just some about it just brings you in, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like we're just in Nikki's mind or something, and we're just so much chaos, and we're not like quite sure what's happening. What I discovered was we don't realize it in this song, or maybe some people did. I didn't realize it until the next song, My Empty Room, but 22 refers to the shotgun that Nikki has.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. My God.
Yeah. After all these years listening to this album,
shit.
It dawned on me, 22, and we heard that shotgun earlier in the Mission.
Yeah.
Cog, right? So yeah, again, foreshadowing. This is a fiction masterpiece, although it's based on reality. But I mean, they used foreshadowing in this and the whole thing. I mean, it's so well done. I don't know, man. I
want to see the movie, for crying out loud.
I know.
Come on, man.
I know. The best we have is the videos that they did for some of the songs, and which were well done and well put together. The guy that played Dr. X, fucking crazy. He did a great job. But Waiting for 22. What do you think?
It's so epic. It's so the guitars and the solo and it's, well, I don't know. I'm lost for words.
My Empty Room. We'll move on to track 14.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
Empty Room.
Yeah, I've written down my note says the intro and the vocal shows how great of a singer Jeff Tate is. Haven't I said this already? But it's what the hell?
It's
Yeah,
what else can you say? I mean,
no,
this record is just
and
yeah.
and the fucking ending of it with the screaming. Oh man, Jesus! I mean,
Yeah.
I mean the drums and the bass and everything else and the vocals. Jesus. On this whole album. On
Yeah.
this whole album. It's
Yeah. Yeah. I like the clock ticking,
yeah,
which reminds you of a couple things. A, time is short, and B, Nikki's time is probably running out.
yeah, yeah,
Again, that showing that in that audio, the way they do that with these audio cues and the music and the sound effects and all that, how they tell that story without telling it. They show it to you. They
Yeah.
show your ears that.
yeah,
And it's just it's brilliant. It's just so brilliant the way they did that. And like you said at the end, the screams, and then we end up back into the hospital with Eyes
Yeah.
of a Stranger.
I mean, we talked about this on the latter albums where we go through like Sabotage and whatnot, and we think about. I mean, what kind of a song is that to end a record? And why did they do that? And why this? And why that? And why that? What the hell are they thinking about? And then you got
Mhm.
Queensryche closing up the album with one of the most epic fucking songs there is on an album, Eyes of a Stranger. I mean, I got nothing to say. I'm done. It's pure fucking awesomeness. And I don't
Yeah.
I shouldn't be even liking the production because I'm more sort of like, the drums in Back in Black, the drums for like accept balls to the wall, that heavy stuff. It's right there in the mix. You can feel it pounding, and it's right in your face. And the production here has nothing to do with that, but
Mhm.
still, it's a fucking masterpiece. I don't know. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah,
The
I
song
mean
has everything.
they ended where they began,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the when that fucking riff kicks in, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just it hits you over the head. And then
Yeah.
when it slows down and Jeff's vocals kick
Yeah.
in, it just fucking sucks you right in.
Yeah.
I mean, the quote, no happy ending like they've always promised. And I hear that line, and the first thing that goes in here
Yeah.
is two words: American dream.
Yeah.
They always promise the American dream, but who
Yeah.
the fuck is living that?
No.
Right? And it's just it's oh god. And Chris's solo in here, just
Yeah.
the drums, the 5-minute mark, when the song seems to change melody while somehow keeping the old one. Again,
Yeah.
it's that oxymoron that they've got going on where things change, but they don't really change, and it keeps all that.
Yeah.
And
Into the eyes of a stranger. I mean, the vocals.
yeah, the end, Jeff's vocals at the end when he says Mindcrime, and then you've got that movie like Chaos at the very end with the loud revolution.
I know.
And then that music fades in. I remember now.
Yeah.
And it ends like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, holy shit.
Yeah. I didn't
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's I agree 100% because I didn't know until today when I listened to this album again in my headphones how much I love it.
Mhm.
It was totally gone. It's
Mhm.
like rediscovering something again that
Right.
you've heard so many times. I mean, we heard Revolution Calling. I've heard Eyes of a Stranger on the radio and whatnot, and it's insane. And then I'll listen to it again with my 50 some odd years, and it's insane.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this again, I think this is one of the best records in our lifetime.
Yeah, I
The way
agree.
it's produced, the way it's written, the way it's arranged, the lyrics, the even the live production on tour to the videos that they put out. I feel like they were one of the first to actually do these videos that wasn't the band fucking playing in a warehouse somewhere. It was actually like some acted out kind of thing.
Yeah. But
And,
it,
you know,
but it's like this. If you asked me a week ago, name your top 5 albums of all times, I would say Kiss Alive, Dio, Holy Diver, Metallica's Ride Lightning or Master of Puppets. You got Whitesnake Slide It In. I get Def Leppard, Pyromania, Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance, and whatnot. Not once would I mention Queensryche's Operation Mindcrime. That's how far away I was from that album. But when people say, "Oh, remember Queensryche with Eyes of the Stranger and Revolution Calling?" Holy shit, those songs, man! Fuck
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Thomas, the drummer of Grand Reserva, he and I we just love Queensryche, and we got to spend time with one another, seeing that show at KB in 2004, because it was his older brother who was in a band called The Bass, and they're still actually reunited today, The Bass. So they're playing clubs here in Sweden, which is crazy to think that it's like 19 years ago since we saw that show, and we still talk about the memories we got from that show, the memories we got from meeting Jeff Tate and all the the then members of the band. They were secluded. They were in the back, so we couldn't reach them. But that they're friendly. Jeff say hi and how are you doing, and nice to see you. And I'm really happy that you're here and whatnot. Really, really friendly, a true professional. Uh, and we're sort of like blown away. Oh my god, fuck me! We're getting to see all these great songs live, and it's I actually pull out the set list. I mean, the last songs of the set list go Operation Mindcrime, Speak, The Needle Lies, I Don't Believe in Love, Eyes of a Stranger. I mean, it goes on and on. It's
mhm,
insane. And
yeah,
to be able to say that I've been a small part of it, but still can't even think about putting this album in my like top 5 or top 10s a week ago, because
mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Well, I think it's we were really lucky to grow up when there was so much good music.
Yeah.
Like we've done the top fives and the top tens on the show before, and
Oh
they're
yeah.
always going to change. Like that top, you go back and listen to those, they're going to be different today,
Yeah.
right? They always are, because frankly, there's just too much good shit out there that we grew up with to really say I like this over this.
Yeah.
Because really, it's what mood am I in
Yeah.
right now? You know, sometimes I want to listen to Queensryche, sometimes I want to listen to Slayer, two very different bands,
Yeah.
but they're both fucking great.
Yeah.
It's great stuff.
And it's like you said, to be able to grow up, and in 1988, I mean, Appetite for Destruction, you got Operation Mindcrime. I mean, we're able to witness the birth of Metallica early on.
Mhm.
uh I mean, Dio's solo band, we're right there from the get-go, which is it's insane to think about. Going out into the store, buying Holy Diver the day it came out, being 12 years old, looking at this freaking monster doing this, and it's we're so
Yeah.
fortunate. We're so
We
fortunate.
are. I mean, and you look at music today, and people give me shit, but it's not the same. Music is not. It's just not the same. We don't have the same talent. In fact, a couple weeks back, we were on the porch with some friends, and we were having this discussion about this very subject. And Taylor Swift came up, and it was like, well, you can't deny Taylor Swift's talent. I'm like, well, I'm not well versed, but and I'm not going to argue her popularity and what she's achieved. I'm not going to argue that. But how long is Taylor Swift going to be around for? I think that's going to be the test. We'll see.
Yeah.
Right. Her stuff's I could listen to it and really go, okay, yeah, I've heard a little bit. I think it's interesting. She tours with hard rock bands like Def Leppard. I don't get that connection at all. But we've seen so many bands come through our as we grew up.
Yeah.
And those bands are some bands are still kicking it, some aren't. The new Guns N' Roses song is a fucking mess. Right? They had their one opus with Appetite, and that was it. And I think bringing this back to Queensryche, I think their first 4 releases, just like Metallica, I think that was it for Queensryche. They couldn't top this.
But I'm thinking like this. I couldn't say that there isn't talent anymore. I just don't hear the music that I want to listen to. Being a part of some talent, there is younger bands that certainly has it, and if they progress, it's fine, it's okay. I'm gonna love it if it does. But I don't have an opinion about music that I don't get, because I'm people say to me, how the fuck can you listen to Kiss still today? What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, they had some good albums, but and I said, listen, it's a totally different ball game, because I'm invested for life in this band. It has done so much for me throughout the years, and who am I to say that a young person today who likes Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Post Malone, who has that same feeling for their music, a music maybe that I don't fully understand or appreciate, but the feeling that you see this young person have for their kind of music, who am I to label them and say, well, yeah, you don't have that much talent, and why are you doing this and whatnot? Because I think, well, it's just life as it is. As a musician myself, I can't rat anything down, but I'm changing channels on the TV. I'm skipping songs that are requested to me. I don't listen to stuff because I don't like it. But it's I get what you're saying. But we grow up being fucking spoiled with all that great music, and I think I'm sad to say that much of the youth today listen to rock and roll music. They don't get to experience the stuff that we did, because everything was like in there from like my earliest rock and roll memories, where I go, fuck, I need to learn how to play the drums. I'm 11 years old. I shit you not. And from like and what I'm it is 1982, 81, 82, something like that. And to take that as a mark and go up until 1990, those 9 years, I mean, you and I can sit here today and just name drop one epic album after another.
Mm-hmm.
Today, you can't do that anymore because the industry has changed. The music industry has changed. You got all these big tycoons out there with their record label saying, well, I want a one-hit wonder and I want it now. Write a song to this person, to that person. And it's not the same
There's no
anymore.
A&R. We've talked about this
No.
before. There's no A&R anymore. There's no developing bands. There's no, I don't think a Metallica coming on the scene as heavy as they did back then would
No.
have done anything. I don't think Black Sabbath would have done anything. Led Zeppelin, all the
No.
bands we grew up with, they got their chance because there was A&R and there was record labels were allowing, that first record from David Bowie to be released. Like, what was that? Like, I've tried listening to that and I don't know what that is.
No.
But I can appreciate it, right? There's some of that stuff that I can appreciate. It's a little unfair to go off on the musicians a little bit because it is a different world and they have to play what they play in order to get paid.
Yeah.
So I
Just
get it.
take a band. I mean, to put myself aside a
I met you when you were in a band called Backhander, and did one of those shitty microphone to the speakerphone interviews. And I thought back then, like, how is this band not bigger than it is? And then you started Grand Reserva, and I'm like, okay, fucking Christ, this is why even, you've had all these years and it's not gone anywhere. Like really, like it should have. Right. You guys, I shouldn't say it, I misspoke. I didn't mean to say it hasn't gone anywhere. No, but the fact that Ghost is popular and Grand Reserva and Liar and a lot of these bands are not bigger than they are. It's like, what the fuck is wrong? What's wrong with the industry? Because there is good music out there. There really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I started Fibble back in the day. It was because I wanted to take some of these independent bands that weren't getting heard and give them a place where they could get heard. Yeah. And I did make some headway, right? That was the early days of podcasting. We had early, we were one of the first podcasts out there in like 2004, 2005. And we were doing music, which nobody else was doing really at the time. And we got numbers when podcasting, nobody even knew what the fuck that was. And so we made some headway, but it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough, unfortunately. And the industry had already changed, and it's sad. And again, it could be why Queensryche isn't Queensryche anymore. They're doing, I mean, once they got rid of Jeff Tate and that whole split and they got all that squared away and they got Todd Latour as singer, I feel like he's not a bad singer, but I still feel like all he's trying to do is mimic Jeff Tate. Yeah. And he does a phenomenal job at it, don't get me wrong, but I don't want somebody mimicking the past singer. I want somebody, like Dio that comes into Black Sabbath that doesn't try to be fucking Ozzy. He tries to be Ronnie Dio. He tries to be himself. But he had records to sell. So that's what they're trying to do. And I mean, they went from playing stadiums to small clubs now. Even it's sad to see that happen because there is still talent in that band.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do, man? What are you going to do?
I mean, the record industry is just like, I don't know. It's a fucking zoo. I don't know what to say because it's DUI all over the place. That's the main thing that comes to mind. You have to do everything yourself. You got some support. I mean, you and I team up together to release Grand Reserva stuff, for crying out loud,
Yeah.
on your label. And to just take a minute to go back to Liar Thief Bandit. I mean, they got a call from KB, the club that I was so invested in, and I've told you a million stories about. And they got a call and say, "Hey, you guys want to open up for the Helicopters?" And so I went to that show. I bought a ticket and I went to that show. And I have to say, Liar Thief Bandit, they fucking killed it. And it was a sold out crowd. I mean, I think that the venue takes some like 750 or 800 people. And you can see I'm standing there in the middle of the pit, or whatever you call it, front and center stage, and I'm watching people on the sidelines going, "Holy shit, what the fuck is going on stage right now? Have you what the fuck?" You could see people engaging in and thinking, so, and I'm yeah, motherfucker, now you get it.
Yeah.
And I really hope that there are bands out there that are, I mean, we've been fortunate enough to have some stuff happening in Grand Reserva. I mean, we went to the US, to New York City, and play a couple of shows. We went on tour with played a couple of shows with Nazareth and Mike Monroe and whatnot. And it's like collecting memories for us to be able to be in there and in the moment creating the stuff that we want to do. We have been in the midst of talking to bigger record labels, but it has always come to the point where we have to say thank you, but we're not interested in putting up money up front. We're not interested in doing songs and writing music because you want to sell something. We want to write the music that we love, that we can stand up for, that we feel are a big part of the sound of Grand Reserva, and not be able to, oh, it would be great if you did a cover on this artist, and then we could sell that, and then you could go on tour, and then you could do. No, just hold on. Why? This is a pop song. We're not a. I mean, yeah, what you could do it. So yeah, but we don't even like it. So, and that's why
You gotta be behind the music. Yeah. You have to. Yeah. No, record labels have been ruining music for years.
Yeah.
We interviewed the pop star, 80s huge pop star Howard Jones, also back in the day, right around the time we interviewed Pamela Moore. And he was telling the story about he was ready to release this record. And the record label said, okay, this is the way we're going to order the album, right? These are how the tracks are going to be. And he's like, no, that's not right, because it's supposed to be this way. No, because this is going to be the single that we're going to release, the first single that we're going to release. And he's like, no, it should be this other one. Well, that single flopped. And then they're like, okay, we'll release the one that you wanted. Oh, what do you know? That was the hit. That was the hit. So if they just would have listened to the fucking dude that put the fucking album together, it would have been a hit right from the get-go. But no, they think they know best, and they don't. It's the artists that know better.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like back then in the 70s and early 80s is when labels, I think around the early 80s is where labels changed and thought, well, we need to make money. We can make more money than we already are making. And then you start hearing stories from like Howard Jones and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's just, it's stupid. It's stupid.
It is.
But what a fucking tangent we got off on. We're supposed to be talking about Operation Mindcrime.
Yeah.
We're talking about the music industry. But I love talking about the music industry, though.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. But bringing it back.
Yeah, bringing it back. Fucking epic, awesome opus
10 for 10.
album.
10 for
Yeah,
10.
10 for. Oh yeah, 10 for
10
10.
for 10. Yeah.
My note says 10 for 10 down
10
here.
for 10. There you go. 10 for
10
10.
for 10.
Fucking
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah, you see, it's
All right.
It's insane
Yeah. Go listen to it. Go listen to it.
right now.
And I meant to say at the beginning of the show to put this on in the background and listen to it while we talk, since we can't play the music.
Yeah,
And just for future, like when we're talking about these records, pop them on in the background, put them on low. It's actually what I do when I edit the show. When I go back
Yeah.
and edit, I actually put it on real low, and it fucking works, man. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
great stuff.
So,
Yeah.
and with that, if you've got something to say either about the tangent we went off on in the music industry, let us know. Soundsonvinyl.com. Talk to Mike in his record store about it if you want. You guys have a chat over some coffee and stuff.
Yeah,
And you know what? You should also go and get some merch at soundsonvinyl.com. Tell everybody what your favorite fucking podcast is. Tell everybody the show that makes your ears bleed twice a month.
All right.
There you go. Make it happen. And
Make
with
it
that,
happen.
and with that, don't forget to go to Mike's record store, the official Sounds on Vinyl record store. I'm going to let him say the address and all that because my Swedish is not.
Krusegatan 23 in Malmö, Sweden.
Yes. Or I would say Cruisegotten 23.
Oh, there you go. That's
Which
great.
is it's so wrong. It's so bad. No. But at least I know the most important fika word, Swedish word, which is fika. Wow.
Yeah.
Really, it's time to go, I guess.
It's time to go.
I can't even speak anymore. All right. With that, until next time.
This has been the Sounds on Vinyl show with Mike Svensson and Phil Bowyer, produced by Boozehound Entertainment in cooperation with Boozehound Music. Intro and outro music by Dead Anarchy, courtesy of Shot Glass Records. For exclusive playlists, videos, and other extras, visit soundsonvinyl.com. Thanks for listening, and for all your motherfucking support.